Okay, is this going? I guess it is. Oh my. Well, I don't know. Anyway, I want to, this is the kitten who needs surgery. I don't know if you can tell, but she has a swelling right here that's about the size of an egg. And it apparently, probably, it's either got to be a tumor or she was born with her intestines on the outside of the abdominal cavity. She doesn't seem to be in any pain. I don't know, it's just one of those things. She was born to a wild female cat out in the back barn somewhere, and Jenny found the kitten in the weeds. And when she picked her up, of course, she noticed this condition, and she brought the little thing in the house, and this is the plan, what we're going to do about it, I guess. All right. I'm still really lost with all of this, but I've had some advice. Number one, keep it down to 15 minutes, and I really don't have more to say than that anyway, if I can even dig up that much. I'm going to try to change screens without losing my place here. And go to my thread. There are things that I ought to comment on. First of all, I do need to say, those y'all who know me know I am intolerant with regard to trolls or shills, and I'm not literate enough to know what the technical difference is between a shill and a troll, and I don't really care. And I have no leniency at this point in time, because these are educated people who know what they are doing, and what they are doing is wrong. And we are at a place in time where the truth must come forward. Anyone obstructing that effort is on the wrong side of the fight. And I am not going to put up with it. I absolutely will not. There's also another category of online individuals that I call strolls, who are just wandering around and don't really know what's what. I am a little bit more lenient with that. But after a couple of years of dealing with, a particular individual, I don't know that there is any rescue for chronically stupid. And I don't know what to do about that. All right, so that said, y'all notice that on my thread, I do put up a lot of stuff from Dave Hodges. I think you all know why I do that. But to be clear on it, I will vet him in this way. I've been following Dave Hodges for, I don't know, maybe 4 years, maybe longer than that. He started out on Blog Talk Radio, which I used to listen to quite a bit, having an issue in Phoenix, the Phoenix area where he lived, that had to do with John McCain. And this is how Dave Hodges' exploration began. He was confronted in his front yard by this situation. And this actually seems to be the way, one of the ways at least, awakening happens. Y'all not have the idea that awakening is some kind of a sudden light bulb going off in the awareness where all of a sudden you just, comprehend everything. For many people, it is not that way at all. It comes gradually. and you have to learn it. There is no brilliant burst of light. It's not how it comes. There may be an eye-opener that happens that comes kind of that way. But for most people, in reality, it's a gradual, and I hate the term waking up. We have had to resort to that, and everybody uses it. But really, it's a process of discovery. You discover one thing, and then you go a little further and you discover another thing, and then another thing. And eventually you start asking questions about the things you discover. And it is in the questioning that the learning begins to take place. So I listened to Dave Hodges 2 or 3 years ago as he began this whole process of making the discoveries of learning. I was ahead of him in my own exploration. And I could see the footsteps that he was taking. And he has continued to take those footsteps. Then it happened that circumstances changed, and I totally stopped listening to any blog talk. I didn't listen to any of it. It was only last weekend, over the 4th of July, that I actually went into a couple of blog talk, and you know, and it ends up, you can find them later in archives or on videos. But I have not listened live for a long time, a couple of years, until the 4th of July weekend, and I went in and listened to Dave Hodges live. I listened to Doug Hagman. I listened to a couple of others. And these are the guys that I now call, or I started calling the Watchmen. They are Christian oriented, and they are on to all of this. I think it is stunning that somehow I'm totally unchurched. Really, I am. Attendance in church or has just not been a routine part of my life for at least 30 years. There was an episode where I tried to become churchly because I admired the people who were. I didn't admire them. I admired and would have liked the feeling of fellowship, of inclusion, of being in a situation where everyone was on the same page. And I tried, but that I didn't find what I needed. And I gave what I could in that environment, but basically, I'm kind of a heretic. So I am stunned. I mean, I have to notice that it's very remarkable that of all the stuff available, I have ended up on the same page as these Christian watchmen. I think they are totally right on. And Dave Hodges, I know, is closely affiliated with all of them. And I'm not talking about the mainstream guys. No, the mainstream guys, unfortunately, have lost their way and have not found it and may not find it. That, I can't say. But anyway, these are some of the reasons that I feel comfortable putting up Dave Hodges' material. And I feel that his reports are as right on and credible as I can find. What he reports is what I can independently from other means verify within my own self. And while I'm blabbing about this, I will say that, it is not what you learn from other people that matters. It is what you learn within yourself on your own that becomes the most reliable source of truth. And, we've overworked that word truth too. In its simplest form, it just simply means honest. You have to be honest. You have to be brave enough to be honest. Honest with yourself, honest with others, honest with what information is coming in. You have to be honest and you have to be fearless. Doesn't mean you attack others. But nonetheless, you yourself have access to the most reliable teacher there is. So not to be going out looking for somebody to follow. But when you find others who are following the same thing you are following, then there is credibility. And I have to feel that whatever I put up on my thread, it has credibility. Sometimes I put things up just for contrast. So you can see the phony versus something that is more credible and find your way through that. And what does any of this matter to anybody? Because, we're little. There is nothing we can do to change the big picture, what's coming on. That's a rationale that does not hold water to me. No. No, that rationale is born in some kind of feeling of helplessness. Cannot be true. There is something we can do that may be different for each individual, and the time might be different for each individual. Maybe I can do something today, but I can't do it tomorrow. Maybe you can do it tomorrow, but you can't do it today. All right, so what else did I want to say about any of this? This George Soros funded bullshit is so phony. I recognize it as totally phony. I think that the majority of Americans, black and white, also recognize it as phony. I lived in a mixed race neighborhood for years, 50 years, something like that. And there is no way in the world that the people that I knew of all races would buy any of this stupid nonsense. This is all phony. It's all canned. Black people and white people, neither one, are going to buy this. It's just all a charade. It's an act. They've paid these people. They funded these people. They put these people out here on the street. It was just the most sickening, stupidest thing, certainly, that I have ever witnessed. But who knows how far this is going to get. I don't know. To make this fly the way they want it to fly, there will have to be some more false flags and some more snipers shooting people off of buildings and that kind of thing. I don't know. So Dabu did a live stream of the goings on in Cincinnati, I believe it was. I watched part of that. It's just so stupid. It's just incredible. All right, now if I can find my way back here to wherever I'm supposed to be. There we are. Uh, uh, really still struggling trying to get this live stream thing where I'm more comfortable with it. But, you know, this is just day one. So we'll go forward. I will try again tomorrow. You know, weekends, that always amazed me too. You wouldn't think that the entire world's news could be regulated by the 5-day week and the weekend, but it sure is. It sure is. It just seems like nothing happens on weekends. So we'll look tomorrow. There will be, you know, because that's, I guess, prime time viewing, and Department of Homeland Security people have had their weekend off or whatever. I don't know why they schedule these things this way. All right. Once again, just to remind you, I love you. I love you so very, very much. And I always will. You are important to me, and you will always be important to me. And I will talk to you again tomorrow. Okay, here we go. Click stop broadcast.